Hey guys, today I want to talk to you about why, where, and how to become a public speaker. So, let me tell you a little bit of a story. Each year, some of my coaching and consulting friends get together for an event in Steamboat Springs and in Winter Park and sometimes virtually called HYPE, which basically stands for Helping Young Professionals Excel. Now, the name of it is not that important. It's a very cool event. We put it on in communities for free, essentially, to just help spread some cool ideas. But the format is really cool. Basically, here's how it goes. I host a mastermind for the speakers in a luxury home. And for a day, we discuss and work through their greatest challenge while they're there. And each night that they're there with us, each one of them gives a 13-minute theme talk to about 150 or 200 people in each of the communities that we visit or online. So some of these people are very seasoned speakers and some are speaking in front of an audience for a first time. But without exception, each of these speakers comes out of the event with unexpected feelings and unexpected results. I think we've now done this event, about 6 or 7 times over the past few years. And each year, the most common question that I get asked by the people that I invite is, when can we do this again? Guys, I'm telling you, there's just something about this speaking thing. I've been speaking to audiences a few times a year for the past 10 to 12 years now. I don't typically get paid for it, but on occasion I'll make a few bucks here and there, but I don't do it for the money anyway. I do it because it keeps me sharp and fresh, and it keeps me in front of people to share the things that I care about. Now let me repeat that. I enjoy and embrace public speaking because it keeps me sharp and fresh, and it gets me in front of people to share the things that I care about. I do it because it forces me to improve my level of mastery of one topic or another, and I do it, frankly, because it's fun. So the question in mind is, well, Chad, if it doesn't make you any money, why do you do it? Well, here's the deal. Of all of the ways to promote my causes, my business, and myself, public speaking easily gives me the greatest bang for my buck, and I'm not alone, okay? Here are some notable unpaid moments in history that defined movements and individuals, both good and bad. So first, Martin Luther King. We all know who he is, right? He gave his I Have a Dream speech, which inspired just a nation and broke down all of these racial barriers without being paid for it. Without his leadership and his inspirational speech, it may have taken an extra 10 years or 20 years or maybe even more to bring equality to all of the races. But that one single speech helped him further his cause faster. President Nixon's speech united a nation around the Vietnam War, put a man on the moon. His resignation speech, however, is still regarded as one of the greatest loser speeches of all time. And you should look it up. Matter of fact, I'll try to put a link in this video or in the notes underneath. Abraham Lincoln, of course, his Gettysburg Address put him on the map for president. Okay, without that speech, he may never have been the icon that he is today. And even some bad examples like Adolf Hitler. His many speeches were delivered with such passion and such leadership that they caused arguably one of the most horrific genocides of all time. So, just a few examples of folks that gave speeches for free that impacted the world. So here, if not for money, why? Here is why I think public speaking is important for you and your business. And here are some main reasons. Number one, you are going to overcome the fear. While it may or may not be true that public speaking is the greatest fear that many people experience, there is no question that speaking in front of an audience is intimidating for most people. But then again, it was intimidating for you to ride your bike for the first time, wasn't it? It was intimidating for you to start your business. It was intimidating to you to ask that girl out on the first date. It's going to be intimidating. The process of choosing a topic, compiling a talk, and then delivering it in front of an audience is not easy, and that is what makes it great. Overcoming both the preparation and the presentation challenge is a surefire way to increase your confidence in your ability to do hard things. So the number one reason to public speak, you're going to overcome some fear, and you're going to increase your confidence in your ability to do hard things. Second, number two is you're going to master a topic. As I've mentioned many times, I've been studying Stoicism for quite some time now. One of my favorite quotes is from Seneca. He was a Stoic philosopher. And this quote is, "While we teach, we learn." So when you're preparing to teach something to someone else, you prepare for it differently. You absorb the material in a more organized way so that you can share it, and that organization allows you to be challenged and learn from the material more effectively as well. This organization serves as a mnemonic device, right? So getting it together. So mnemonic devices are techniques a person can use to help them improve their ability to remember something. So organizing your talk helps you remember what you've just learned. Okay, these mnemonic devices are a memory technique that help your brain better encode and recall important information. So preparing for this talk is just going to help you actually master the topic. The third reason I think you should public speak is you're going to be seen as an expert. So the simple act of teaching or sharing something with a group of people increases your influence. As we know, leadership is all about influence, about persuasion, about taking people from one point and moving them to another, right? So speaking is a part of that process of persuasion, and often the most powerful part. When you add influence to subject matter mastery, you solidify your role as an expert, and people begin to regard you as such. So number three reason you're going to be seen as an expert. Number four, you're going to boost your self-confidence. It's been said that confidence is more compelling than competence. Confidence is more compelling than competence. So by overcoming your fear of speaking and learning to effectively deliver a presentation and receiving even the smallest bit of esteem from the audience, your confidence is going to soar. This confidence is going to be reinforced by things like simple applause, maybe a good Q&A session, or maybe even just having someone come up to you after the talk to ask you questions or to connect with you. Imagine what you're going to be able to do with a new level of confidence. Fifth reason to public speak, you're going to attract opportunities, okay? Speaking makes you visible. I can't tell you how many times a client has said to me, but how could they not know about me? My marketing material is everywhere. I asked them to go speak somewhere and see what happens. Okay, your marketing material only tells people what you do. Speaking lets people begin the process of getting to know you. And as we know, people buy from who they know, they like, and they trust. And speaking is a guaranteed way to express your personality, your likability. Okay, it gets us past that know barrier. They feel like they know us. Think about all of the YouTube bloggers or all of the characters on television that you feel like are your friends because you have gotten to see them speak. That increased attraction provides more opportunities for you to present your products and services to others because the sales wall now is down, okay? So people are less worried about being taken advantage of when they feel like they know you. That's why they're more open to hearing about opportunities to work with you. So as you speak, you will attract more opportunities. The sixth thing is you will improve your emotional intelligence. One of the most challenging parts of being an entrepreneur is the fact that when you're creating something new, you often have to guess what your potential customers will want. You typically do this through either completely guessing or some kind of trial and error until eventually something clicks and you're able to give people what they want. That's super hard on our emotions, right? Speaking forces us to think about what others want to hear and put it in a format that is accessible and acceptable for them to learn. When we're able to recognize and to understand and to manage our own emotions, we can recognize, understand, and influence the emotions of others. It's number 6 reason to do it. You're going to improve your emotional intelligence. 7th is you're going to increase your personal power. The most common theme that I've encountered as a coach to small business owners and entrepreneurs over the years is lack of personal power. You can ask any one of my clients, what do I talk to them about the most? It's mindset around personal power. And personal power is based on strength, confidence, and competence that you're going to gradually acquire in the course of your development, okay? It is self-assertion and a natural, healthy striving for love, satisfaction, and meaning in your interpersonal world, okay? That's personal power. I know why I'm here. Speaking publicly allows us to speed up the process of developing personal power by putting us in challenging situations that require us to be at our best. So there are 7 reasons that I think speaking is important for you. You're going to overcome fear. You're going to master a topic. You're going to be seen as an expert. You're going to boost your self-confidence. You're going to attract opportunities. You're going to improve your emotional intelligence. And you're going to increase your personal power. All right, so now that you're convinced, let's talk a little bit about how we go about it. So obviously, public speaking can be an awesome tool for building both your business and yourself. And because you may or may not have done it before, we might want to take a look about how I would go about it if I was starting all over again. So here's what I would do. Number 1, I would start small. Listen, there are some really big stages in this world, and they are as scary as they sound. For instance, did you know that in order to become a TEDx speaker, which is the smaller, kind of more accessible stepchild to TED Talks, speakers have to submit a detailed multi-page application, which is measured up to 2,000 or so other applications. Then they have to perform a live audition against up to 100 of these other applicants to eventually selected for just one of 15 spots. Now, there have been more and more TEDx stages grown. I mean, gosh, we could probably do a TEDx Steamboat at this point, and there certainly wouldn't be 2,000 other applications, okay? But it's a lot, right? So obviously it's not insurmountable because hundreds of people speak at dozens, maybe even hundreds of TEDx events each year, but there's an easier way. So instead of looking for the big stages, I want you to seek out the smaller stages. So your local coffee shop, your local bar might have an open mic night. Maybe the bookstore around the corner is hosting a poetry slam. Head on over, strut your stuff, man. Trust me, as an event organizer, I can assure you that all of these events will be thrilled to have you come and add a little to their events. By the way, these small events could also be events like Hype, where you could come and just give a 13-minute talk to maybe 100 or 150 people. They could be things like speaking to a Rotary. They could be speaking to an Optimist Club, whatever it might be. But believe me, if you're going to come and speak about something that you're an expert at, the organizer is going to be thrilled. So start small. The second thing I would do is I'd probably join Toastmasters. So nothing is going to improve your public speaking confidence more than practice. And Toastmasters, hands down, has the best program out there to help individuals become better communicators through leadership training and public speaking practice. Okay, you can find a chapter almost anywhere at Toastmasters. Even in a small town like Steamboat Springs, we've got a Toastmasters. So part of what makes the program so valuable is this concept they call "As I Saw You, As I Heard You." So it's an evaluation form. And these fellow club members actually fill it out and share it with you after every talk. So joining Toastmasters gives you the opportunity to speak regularly and a format for evaluation that's simple and that you get every single time. So that simple format and this expected critique, so you're going in knowing you're going to be critiqued, is going to help you quickly improve your delivery and your message. The third thing is to find existing speaking events. I did a lot of my early speaking as a part of one of the many Ignite groups throughout the country. So the model of Ignite events, and you can just look them up, Ignite speaking events. But the model is enlighten us but make it quick. So here's how it works. Presenters get 20 slides that automatically advance every 15 seconds. So the result of these evenings is a fast and fun presentation which just lasts 5 minutes. So you can talk about anything for 5 minutes, right? So there are a lot of other similar events popping up all over the place, especially since the pandemic. There's lots and lots of virtual events popping out. So it's easy to find some of these events, and I would find an existing speaking event and pitch something. Reach out and go speak. Final thing that I would probably do is create my own event. So this is an often overlooked way to get your public speaking fix. So although there are events all over the place, sometimes it's best to simply create your own, right? So my friend and my therapist, Eddie, who I've talked about many, many times, he speaks to a group at our local library about relationships as a couple a few times a year. So we created the Hype format from scratch, and now it's a really well-attended speaking event in our small town every winter. So yeah, there's a little more work to creating your own event. But when you create your own event, you get to do things your way, and even better, you get to speak about whatever you want. There's also the added benefit of being seen as the promoter or being seen as the event organizer, which actually helps with some of those areas above as well. All right, so 4 things that I'd do if I was to start from scratch. Number 1, I'd start small. Little venues, small venues, I'd join Toastmasters. I'd get some critiques. I'd find some existing speaking events, and I'd pitch to speak at them, and I'd maybe create my own event. So now you know why and how to go about speaking. What are you supposed to speak about, right? So, well, really, anything that motivates or inspires other people. It doesn't necessarily have to be about your business. What you're going to speak about is far less important than how you present it. So here's some rules for this. Number one, keep it simple. Mark Twain, among many others, is credited with having once said these words: "I'm sorry I wrote you such a long letter. I didn't have time to write you a short one." When we aren't prepared or certain about the points we're trying to get across, we tend to get long-winded, and this can become confusing. So to combat this, keep your talk simple with a clear beginning, a middle, and an end. Focus on one theme and eliminate everything else. Okay? And if you can't present the whole thing and call it like 13 minutes or less, simplify it or just don't do it at all. Yes, there's hour-long keynotes out there. There's 2 and 3 hour-long keynotes out there. And those are for a whole different purpose. We're talking about just getting you out into the world, speaking about something that you're passionate about and you know about and that can help other people. So number one, keep it simple. Number two, I want you to use this method called the Oreo cookie method. So in like 1995 or so, I was in this presentation skills class with a woman named Cindy Maxey. I'd love it if Cindy actually watched this video. That'd be cool. But she was a certified public speaker, a CSP, certified speaking professional. And she shared this method of organizing a speech that I really like. It's super simple, called the Oreo cookie method. Number one, tell them what you're going to tell them. Number two, tell them. Number three, tell them what you told them. Okay? That's it. Tell them what you're going to tell them. Tell them what you told them. So that format is easy to remember, and it's going to substantially simplify your preparation as it automatically creates a strong beginning, a strong middle, and a strong end. Number three is to tell stories. Stories help us communicate meaning beyond the actual words that we say. So they allow the listener to engage in the communication in a much more personal way. So using story turns the brain's inference engine on. Okay, we can infer things. So when a listener hears a story, the brain infers untold details, emotions, experiences into the message. The brain can't help it, right? It's just wired to fill in the pieces it can't explicitly determine from the words alone. So it infers the other parts in order to create a complete message, and that works to our advantage. So make sure that we tell stories and people can place themselves in them. 4 is really important. Save the jokes, but keep the humor. So unless you are a stand-up comedian, and a good one, keep the jokes to a minimum. Okay, it's fine to add humor to your presentation, but keep it relevant to the talk. A laugh feels great at the time, but really unless it's teaching a lesson or helping people shift direction in their mindsets, it can actually detract from the lesson itself. Last thing you want is to say, that guy was really funny, but I don't have any idea what he talked about. The 5th, and this is a little bit controversial, but I would use visual aids sparingly, if at all. So here's the deal. Trust me, nobody wants to see your charts and your bullet points projected on the screen. So PowerPoint was created as a corporate tool to help corporate people present corporate ideas to corporate audiences. Okay, as a small business owner, that is not you. You are the idea. The people care about what you have to say. So use your words, the dynamics of your voice, your pacing, your body language to emphasize the key points that you're making. And if you absolutely must use visual aids, use them as sparingly as possible. So remember, stand-up comedians are some of the most memorable and engaging public speakers in the world. And when was the last time you saw a single one of them using PowerPoint? So there are the 5 ways to structure the talk. Number 1, keep it simple. Use the Oreo cookie method. Tell them what you're going to tell them. Tell them what you told them. Tell stories. Don't just provide facts. Tell stories. Save the jokes, but keep the humor. And use visual aids sparingly, if at all. So there you have it, guys. The why, the where, and the how of public speaking and why you should embrace it as a small business owner. I hope this encourages you to get out there and start sharing yourself with the world. If you're so inclined, reach out to me and talk to me about the next hype event, or consider stealing my format and doing one of these events on your own. That's it for now, guys. Hope you have a great weekend. Talk to you soon.